So today we came to speak about shoes. This is the shoe conference, yeah? No. Really, we came to speak about trust, but first, Steven will tell you a small story about trust between people.
I want to tell you a story about my first year at the university. It was actually probably the saddest moment of my time in school. It was the very first week that I arrived in the dormitory, and I was assigned a roommate, a random guy I had never seen before, and he was from 4 hours away by car in the middle of Texas. And on the very first week, he came to me. He came into the room, and he was totally devastated. He was in tears. His face was red, and he told me that his mother had just been killed in a car accident. And I've never seen someone more devastated in my life. He said, I have no money, I don't have a car, I need to go be with my family right now. And so I told him, please, I don't know you yet, but take my car, drive it as far, keep it as long as you want. And I trusted him, and it was very sad for him, but thankfully he came back with the car a few days later. The car was fine, had a full tank of gas, and he left me a note on the dashboard that said, thank you so much for the trust in me. And so it was so easy to trust him in that moment because of that deep emotional connection that we had, a very human thing. But in business and in the new economy, we can't trust everyone on such a deep emotional level.
Yeah, and that's what happened to me when I used to work in space, in the aerospace industry, and there was these shoes with magnets that felt like walking on the moon, so I went on this Kickstarter campaign, and of course, I was scammed with $250,000 with other people that invested into these shoes, because usually when it's a one-to-one, maybe it's going to work out, but when it's a business and there's no counterparty risk, they're just going to... There is counterparty risk always, so it's very, very difficult to solve this problem. And that's what PayPal solved. And Yatsui was just talking about this, how eBay, it was total stranger on the other side, but PayPal acted as broker. And thanks to this, and thanks to this escrow mechanism that PayPal offered, it led to a 1.5 billion acquisition. And this was Web 1.0. The problem is, now we have a $20 trillion problem.
Yeah, take a look at this number here. That is $20 trillion. That's $20 million is the problem we face now, and that is the projected commerce that will be done by AI agents between each other in the next few years. Every single year, there will be $20 trillion. It's a huge problem, especially because how do we trust these AI agents?
Yeah. The cash economy the US dollar cash economy is only like $10 trillion economy per year. So this is like double in the next 3 to 5 years. And Vitalik tried to do this. Vitalik and Gavin Wood, they laid the foundation with Ethereum and Web3. And I was lucky to buy 20,000 Ethereum in 2014 when I was at GSR. And I really had to push my partners at GSR that just said, like, it's all about traction with this stuff. And this stuff they were referring to was Ethereum, the foundation of why we're all here together, Web3. They didn't really believe in it, the Goldman Sachs guys, but like as a technical guy, I really believed in the idea of programmable business. Having a Kickstarter where the money is released, as Vitalik said, when you reach a certain goal, or so it's automatic escrow. The problem is that business is not always, how would I say?
Go back.
Okay, I go back. Yep. So the problem is that business is cannot always be supervised by a third party. And what we offer at Yellow, well, we'll show you a demo. How can we, two agents, communicate with each other without trusting each other, without the need for reputation, with automatic escrow and risk? So this is an economy for the billions of agents that we have developed, over 100 engineers, over 500 man-years of engineering to develop this to get to where we are today. The project was started actually by consensus. It's based on generic state channels, and we have a demo for you.
So I'll show you a demo of your agent is buying a travel ticket from Barcelona to Tokyo. And it's communicating with a travel agent that he's never met before, but that's also an AI. So he says, I want to buy a plane ticket to Tokyo. And they negotiate, the AI travel booker negotiates the price. And then both of them, using the Yellow protocol, lock funds into a real-time escrow so that they don't have to trust each other. And the funds are locked in escrow. And once the negotiation is complete, and you receive your valid booking code, you verify it with the airline, then the funds are released, everyone gets their escrow funds back, and the travel agent gets paid, you get the ticket. However, sometimes there might be agents with no reputation or agents that are looking to either defraud you or maybe they have invalid data. So in our protocol, when they deposit funds into escrow, if for some reason they discover that there is a problem and you're being defrauded, the bad actor will lose their deposit and you'll get your money back. So it's a secure way for agents to do business with each other without having to trust each other. And it allows for automated interactions at a much larger scale without having trust.
So did you get that? He has an agent, he's the travel agent, I'm the person. We both lock a security deposit, and then we start to transact with each other. If he tries to defraud me, the smart contract will give me the two security deposits. He will actually lose his, and I will get. So there's even an incentive for me to find bad actors. So there's like a community incentive. It's an amazing protocol. It's what Web3 was about. Web3 in 2014 was about trust and removing trust. Bitcoin was about sending money without trusting a bank. It was always about trust. It wasn't about decentralization. Decentralization was never the goal. Trust was the goal, and decentralization just a means to the goal. So here, with our protocol, we now have a way for peer-to-peer trustlessness. And agents, you can't have 1 billion agents without supervision, with supervision of a blockchain. It just doesn't work because the scalability, you can't have 1 billion agents talking to each other and the third party supervising everybody. That's why state channels is a great solution. And the economy is great. It's a massive economy.
Well, this travel booking agent application is only one of many different applications that people are building with the Yellow platform and the Yellow SDK. We have several hundred developers have designed applications for the Yellow SDK, and there are over 50 live applications that you can find on yellow.com. And we're working with developers in accelerator programs around the world continuously to help people grow and market their applications.
Let me tell you a bit the size. So you talked about 20 trillion. So according to McKinsey, 5 trillion of that is retail. And according to Gartner, 15 trillion is institutional. And for the retail part, we're purchasing an EMI license. We gave the green light last week to purchase a credit. We're purchasing a credit card business. And we're going to give our AI agents credit cards to be able to buy and to sell and to execute this. But for the institutional part, which is the big piece of the pie, maybe you want to talk?
Yeah, well, institutions aren't going to be settling between each other using credit cards. They have more larger transactions. They have different ways of paying. And so that's why we're building with institutions in mind for institutional grade settlement using software and blockchains designed specifically for settlement through institutions. And that's going to be a $15 trillion economy in only a few years. That's specifically agent to agent in the enterprise.
This is like 3 to 5 years, double the cash economy, only agents to agents. We have an amazing team. I came from GSR. He came from Ripple. He was working at Ripple, I think, 12 years ago. He's an early Ripple guy. We have Shaila, that is our CMO. She comes from Polkadot. Our CTO was the CTO of Bybit. He's building the liquidity network, and our co-founders, they were building like openware, which maybe you go on.
Yeah, the co-founders are very impressive. They have a lot of experience building exchange technology for dozens or even over 100 exchanges at one point, for exchange like eToro, and they've built enterprise software for credit, Société Générale, Crédit Agricole, HSBC. So the team is actually amazing. It's way bigger than I expected when I joined. There's a lot of talent with Yellow.
And all this talent just came because what they told me is like, we're the only ones building today. We're building something that matters, and we're really fixing that part of business that was missing in Web3. We're adding the peer-to-peer part of business, that is what happens always before settlement or dispute. You go to the supermarket, you buy oranges, apples, and bananas, and you don't settle each thing. There's always a business. When you ask a contractor, do a paint job, change the windows, whatever, it's always like an invoice, a list of peer-to-peer, and you only go to a third party, you only go to the judge if you have a problem, and then you list the problems. But Web3 needs this peer-to-peer part, and that's what Yellow is bringing. Yeah, I'm not sure if you want to add something.
Yeah, I would add that I'm looking to meet as many AI agents who are out in the audience as possible to help find out what your problems are, so we can solve them with the Yellow SDK.
Maybe developers?
Yeah, developers who are building agents, people who are using agents. Our team is really into growing the agent economy, and we're very excited for that.
About 1,000 developers. We launched on 8th of March, and before the day of launch, we already had 1,000 developers building on the Yellow SDK, the Yellow network, the Yellow liquidity network, and an amazing team to support them. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, go to yellow.com to follow along. We have amazing news there, and at Yellow on X also is a great place to follow along and connect. And we have a whole team that is eager to speak with you and help grow and promote your project.
Thank you.